Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's played twice as many games, or has managed twice as many games for United than Arteta has for Arsenal, who's got the most trophies.
Is this as good a time as any to talk about Ole and Lampard and Arteta and that kind of stuff, or will we save it?
I mean, look, while it's fresh, we can just dive in. We can dive in.
Well, who wants to go first? I feel like you're most relevant.
I mean, I'm biased, but what I guess you could tell me as neutrals what you think between the three of them.
Well, I think that Lampard's getting a tough doing now, right? Because yes, he inherited a huge squad with a good bunch of players, but would Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have been able to get Champions League with a transfer embargo?
No, because the only reason they ever got there was they signed Bruno Fernandes, who scored like 20 penalties.
Exactly. So I think Lampard gets a hard doing in comparison to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. In comparison to Arteta, I'd argue that yes, probably Arteta's edging it because I feel the Arsenal squad is far less superior. Is probably the wrong word, but it doesn't have the depth that Chelsea had. They didn't actually need to buy anyone; they just needed to use the team that they already had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I would. I think Arteta would be my favourite, and I'm not honestly just saying that because you're here.
Oh yeah.
But I am probably most impressed with Lampard. Honestly, but when he was signed, and they had the transfer thing, I thought a top half finish would be decent.
Yeah.
Because their team is just like they didn't really have a team. Like Mount, Abraham, is it Tomori?
Yeah.
All these guys like
Reece James.
Yeah.
We didn't know them. They came out of nowhere. So he was there with an aging squad, losing his best player. Like Willian was probably the only player you'd really acknowledge. Giroud was kind of done. We all thought Giroud was.
Kante's a bit washed.
Yeah.
Yeah. A back four. That's
still quite bad.
Done. So I think I've been most impressed with him. Like this Solskjaer thing drives me up the fucking walls. what I'll say is I think he's recruited quite well, and not just for Bruno Fernandes. I think generally speaking, most of who he's brought in has improved the team. Whatever about the prices of Maguire and stuff, and Wan-Bissaka, he's generally recruited well. But I mean, if you ask a United supporter, do you want to see him there in 5 years' time, let alone 10 years' time, they're definitely not going to want it. Surely.
Oh no, they would. Some of them. Some of them believe it.
Well, they need to pull their head out of their arse.
Yeah, and it could. I mean, it could happen. I mean,
it's not going to.
The club aren't going to show faith in Solskjaer. Like, he could be fired next year. I'd actually put money on him getting sacked next year because if they have another string of games like they've had where they can't win for love nor money, United is bigger than any player and any manager. They'll always replace.
Yeah.
Pochettino's there waiting.
Yeah, he hasn't got a new job yet.
No,
because he's waiting.
But there's no consistency. No. You know, they'll go on a 10-game winning run and then they'll be shite, and then 8-game winning run and shite. So,
yeah. And this is it. Look,
I think they'll be found out in the Champions League.
Yeah, and when they play every game to just get penalties, and the fact that they've got 25 over 2 years or whatever it was, it's just. It certainly helps, doesn't it? Turn an even game.
Yeah, but imagine giving obviously Lampard has bought seemingly well so far. But imagine giving Arteta now 100 million.
That's the thing. I think that's probably the argument, or what settles the argument for me is that you either take the money away and see who would manage best, who's actually the coach or the trainer best, or else give them all an equal budget. And I'd argue too that Arteta's been in good hands recently with being under Pep's wing.
Yeah, Arteta he's been there the shortest amount of time. I think in some ways he's a bit overrated, but I think I have a lot of faith in him, and I think he's the man for the future.
Yeah.
But there have been some bad results as well, like getting knocked out of the Europa League by Olympiacos, losing to Brighton, which really ended any hope of Champions League football, and losing to Villa as well was a bit. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
that's bad. Yeah. But on the other hand, he's also beaten in the short space of time. He's beaten Liverpool, City, Chelsea, United, basically everyone. He's beaten all the big teams, and apart from the Liverpool game, which was a bit lucky. I mean, he hasn't had much of a problem. Tactically, he's got it right pretty well, and I think a lot of people expected him to try to imitate Pep, but it's been more like Simeone. Really, they're playing really like pragmatic football, and the water breaks I've noticed make a huge difference, because every time there's a water break in the game, with Arteta, he's there screaming at him, giving him instructions, and then they go out after a water break and the game completely changes. And I notice that happens all the time. So he seems to be pretty good at adjusting tactically, and he actually made David Luiz and Mustafi and Martinez look like a good defense.
Yeah.
Despite David Luiz's best efforts.
And the other thing is too, speaking tactically, I think Arteta is superior too, because when we've seen Chelsea or United change their formation, it's been ineffective. I'm thinking back to the FA Cup semi-final where United played 3-5-2 and were absolutely dreadful until they turned it back to whoever they usually play, or whatever the change in tactic was. It just didn't work. Whereas Arsenal do seem to have a bit of a fluid formation where, you could put Xhaka as a very holding midfielder or just ball playing midfielder too. So there's a bit of variety, and it's funny that we're talking about Xhaka and Luis and Arsenal.
I know.
This, but
that's the one thing, is that all these players who I thought were like no hopers, like I thought Ceballos, like I thought he was a complete washout, a flop. I was like, no loss, he's on a loan, he can go back to Madrid. Now I'm like, oh my god, we need to keep this guy so bad. Xhaka, who got stripped of the captaincy for giving it the big one to the fans,
and he did.
Has been like the midfield maestro. And David Luiz, well, I was going to talk about that Man City game is my favourite match of the season, but that performance in that match, and then Mustafi actually looking like a good defender. This Martinez, who's been unbelievable, ridiculously good
when he wasn't expecting it. I mean, Leno was the set and forget keeper,
and Aubameyang has been played as a winger, and the work rate he's putting in is kind of crazy, because I always thought Aubameyang, you stick him up front, he's a poacher. You just get the ball into him and he'll tap it in or whatever. But Arteta's like, no, you're a hard-working winger.
You're like Salah now, Salah and Mane.
And
it works.
He's better than ever, and he was already pretty good. So that's the only hope I have for Aubameyang staying, is that he's supposedly he is enjoying life and he's won a trophy now. So maybe,
just
who
like
knows?
Robin van Persie was. Wouldn't it be so terrible if Aubameyang went to United?
Yeah.
Of course, Van Persie didn't win a trophy though.
Fair.
Yeah. So
God, yeah, that's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
He was on the bench in like 2005 FA Cup final.
It counts.
Okay, so he won a trophy as a sub that didn't play, I think.
Yeah. But you must put down Arsenal season as a success now, right?
Ooh, I guess so. You can't say winning a trophy is not, but it's been like the worst season ever. Apart from that, like, my God.
But
they're 8. That is just...
I'm sure we'll get back to it.
It seems like a long time ago, though, that Emery was there,
It does.
It seems like a
long time ago.